Hello, guys. Welcome back to the third or fourth episode.
Together, third.
The third episode together of the Quierete Mucho podcast. I am your host, Stacy G, and this is...
Elisa Díaz, respétate más.
This is my mom. So, you guys... Mom, it's the third episode together, but when I was in Colorado this week, I actually got to film an episode with Blanca.
Oh, nice.
Blanca J, yeah. So that's part of the dynamic that I love about this podcast is that you and I are just going to continue to show up and have these amazing conversations, but it also allows me to have amazing conversations with other people. So we have to keep track of like the number of episodes because I feel like I'm going to get confused.
It's okay.
Yeah, but we're here. We're
Yes.
here. We're here in LA, California, baby. And we are back, you and I. How do you feel, Mom, that this is your third episode? You are a full-on content creator now. What do you feel?
Wow. Well, I'm just happy.
Yeah?
I never thought that I was going to be doing this so often, like once every week. But I'm really happy to be able to talk to others.
Yeah.
And like I always say, talk about my experience.
Yeah.
So helping others. I don't know. I'm just doing it for the good.
Yeah.
The be happy, to be helpful. I mean, to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're doing amazing. Now that we've listened to the actual episodes that we filmed, you sound amazing on camera. If there was ever any doubts that you had, I'm sure they've gone away by now because you're doing great, Mom.
Thank you. Thank you guys for listen to me
Yeah.
and take the time to listen everything that we had to talk about it.
Yeah, to spend a little bit of time with us, huh?
Yeah, I mean, without you, we wouldn't sit.
Yeah, we would not be here. So,
Yeah.
I know we were talking about what kind of topic we wanted to get into this week, and there's so many things we could talk about. There's a
Yes.
world of things we could talk about, right? But I brought up this topic to you because let me tell you something. I feel like before I got pregnant and before I had my baby, I feel like I kind of had a little bit of very strong opinions on a lot of things. And what I mean by that is like, I used to think like, this is the way and this is the only way and there's nothing else that exists. Like I was very set in my ways. And I think for a lot of different topics like self-love and things like that, that's a really good way to be. But I don't think anything is ever black and white. There's always a gray area, right? So
Yes.
when I look back at my content, I see that one of the points that I used to touch on is infidelity.
Wow.
And outside of infidelity, what you should do if you get cheated on, right? So
Okay.
this is a very hard topic that I feel like, first of all, I had strong opinions when I wasn't married and when I didn't have a baby yet. So I would like to get into the topic and kind of discuss it because I know you've been married, right? You were in a relationship with my dad for
Yes.
very many years. And would you say ended your marriage because of infidelity?
Yes.
That was the main reason.
Yeah, that was the main reason.
Well, not nice, but thank you for sharing
I
that.
mean-
Not nice. But so I would like to get a little bit of into that, right? Like just to see where we're at, where we're standing. A lot of times when I get questions asked on social media by our supporters, they tell me, my husband cheated on me and he's messaging other girls and he's liking pictures on Instagram. What do I do? And I wish it was as simple as being like, leave, but obviously if it was that easy, everybody would be separated, right?
Yes.
It's not as simple as leave or stay with him. So I would love to get into that topic. Is that something that you're willing to discuss?
Yeah, I think so. Like, I mean, I always say, like, if it helps somebody, because when I went through this, I was younger.
Yeah.
I had no experience.
Yeah.
I don't know how to fight battles.
Yeah.
I don't know what's a fight in front of me that I can win.
Yeah.
I lost, but anything that I live in my life is for a reason. And I think one of the reasons is to help others, not
Yeah.
to go through what I went through.
Yeah. So let's dive into it. So just gonna kind of start off with, could we talk about your story as an example? Because I feel like you're the person in here who's been through that. And then if there's ever anything that you're like, okay, we don't want to touch that, that's fine. So from my perspective, I'm your daughter. I'm your oldest daughter. Mm-hmm. And when I was 11, I remember everything started. How old were you when your infidelity happened?
I think I was like 34.
Yeah, right? Because I was 11.
Yeah.
So 34 years old. And that is so wild because I'm 32. And I used to think you were so grown when I would see you, right? As my mom, I used to be like, yeah, my mom's an adult. Like she knows everything. She has it all figured out. But now that I'm 32, I'm like, oh my God, that's only 2 more years older than me. Like you were a baby.
Yeah, I think I was young and I was good on doing a lot of stuff around the house with my family and everything. But I think it was one area that, because if I'm gonna talk about this subject,
Yeah.
and involves the other person that is not here anymore, I want to talk about me especially more, like how I handle things, how I used to be, or what I know now and how to do it.
Yeah.
But age, that's nothing to do. It can be you marry in 28 and it can happen, and you can be 45 and it can happen.
Yeah.
So it's not about age, it's about relationship and communication in the relationship.
Right. Yeah, no, I
Pretty
agree with
much.
you. I agree with you, but I bring up your age because I've always seen you as someone mature and older, but I bring up the age that you were at the time because that is a lot to carry for a 34-year-old woman. I mean, I'm sure it's a lot to carry for anyone, right? To be
Yes.
to have that happen to them, but just to kind of paint a picture to people of like where we were in life. I was 11, you were 34, and basically before the infidelity, would you say you lived a happy marriage?
Yes, I did.
And how long was your marriage before the infidelity happened?
Probably like that. I know your dad. Probably like a 12 years.
So 12 years. And now I have a theory that there's men that are, hay hombres que son mujeriegos. Like that is literally how they are. No matter how much they love their woman, no matter how married they are, like
They have a problem.
they han sido y serán siguiendo mujeriegos, right?
Yeah.
And then there's men who make a mistake.
Exactly.
Who are not mujeriegos, who are in love with their family and they just make a mistake. Which one of those two would you say my dad was in?
Your dad was the one that made a mistake.
Yeah, like he was a good man and he just
Yeah.
made a mistake, right?
Exactly.
Oh my goodness. So can you like paint a little bit of a picture for us of like how it happened or like, you know, what you're willing to share?
I'll try to share as much as I can. Like
Yeah.
I say, I want to respect your dad's
Of
memory
course.
because he's not longer here, and it's not about him. It's about a subject that happened.
Yeah.
That I was in it, and if I can help somebody, I do it now. But for me, my side was like I was happily married. I have my two girls. We used to have business. We used to own it. We were building a new house. We were kind of perfect family.
Yeah.
You know, we never got mad. We never fight in public. We never argue. Simple things, and that was it. Like I was pregnant with my last kid.
Yeah.
And that's when it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for me, everything was perfect. For me, everything was fine. Your dad never say nothing big or bad, like to the point, like this is getting to my nerves, you know? And I think that's how it happens, like just like that. We used to have a construction company in that moment, and we used to have he used to have a lot of work. So with a lot of work comes a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but some women, they love money.
Yeah.
And they will do anything for that. So that's how it happens.
Yeah.
Just to
Briefly touch.
picture, how it started. I want to say something too, as a woman and as a married woman, as a wife, is a lot of part of my side that I will now, me at this age, and my experience that I have and my faith and everything. Sometimes I talk about it like, if I know what I know now, I don't think one never went to a divorce.
You don't think you would have divorced? Wow.
No.
That's
no,
powerful.
because when you know what's in front of you, and when you know how to fight, because it's a special fight for this, I know I would never divorce.
Wow.
And if I know so much pain that I went through and you guys went through and your dad went through, I won't do that.
Wow.
I
I
would do
would
that.
I mean, I would love to get into that, but let's kind of bring it back a little bit because I feel like 34-year-old you and 56-year-old you are two different women, right? They've lived different experiences. And if you were sitting here with 34-year-old you, right? Like imagine that I was her. You can't get mad at her for not knowing what she didn't know, right?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Like
I
she
cannot
was
get mad at me because,
Yeah.
like I say, time and knowledge give you
experience.
Given, I mean, you cannot have experience if you don't go through something.
Right.
Experience comes with time.
Yes.
Process.
Yes.
But also experience comes with wisdom.
With wisdom, yes.
When you listen to somebody that went through something so hard, so tough, and you learn from somebody else's experience, then it's the best thing.
Yeah.
But sometimes we don't want to learn. I mean,
Right. So, okay. So let's bring it back a little bit to when it happened, right? So you said my dad started a relationship and, my dad was not a mujeriego. He just made a mistake.
Yes.
Now, would you think, just to kind of continue to paint the picture, do you think this was an affair that he had because he loved the other woman? Or what brings a man to start a relationship outside of his marriage if everything was so happy and great, because something I think is happy men don't cheat, right? Would you say that's true?
Actually, it's really hard, the question, because I'm not a man.
Right.
And I don't know what they go through their mind.
Yeah.
But I think men, even if they're happy at home, sometimes it's a challenge for them.
Wow.
Sometimes it's self-esteem really low.
Yeah.
Sometimes they think because sometimes when they see the woman that they can do everything by themselves, and they kind of feel like, something is missing here.
Yeah.
And the experience with your dad, because I asked you that one day in a good communication, we were talking, and I say, why did you do this?
Yeah.
Because when I met the person, the third person, I thought she was so beautiful, and she was so, I imagined this woman like, wow,
Yeah.
And then when I met this person, I see the person and I say, what is it that he saw in this woman that he didn't have at home?
Yeah.
So one time I asked him, like, why did you do that? And he said that he was tired of me doing everything. Pretty much, he says, controlling. I was a controlling woman.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's like everything had to be under control.
Wow.
And so it's one of the keys for women, like, please think about everything, but don't take over the whole thing.
Well, it's hard, right?
It is.
Let's dive into that a little bit, because we're going to use your marriage as an example. Here, your partner, I'm not even going to say my dad, your partner told you, I cheated because you controlled everything. And I wanted to have some sort of control in a relationship, right? So his solution was to go find another person that would let him take control.
Exactly.
Right? And I feel like, and I don't know, you could tell me how you feel about this, but I feel like that is so unfair for us women, because a lot of times when we're in a marriage, men are used to letting the woman lead, right? Where do we, let's pretend you're the girl, I'm the boy. Where should we go eat? Where do you want to go on a date? At what time should I pick you up? What do you want me to wear? Right? That's when they're dating. And then when they move in together, baby, where's the remote control? Where did you put my boots? Can you wash my clothes? Are you going to cook for me? You know what I mean? Like, we put women in these positions where they have to do everything. They have to make every decision. Men take the back seat and say, just do everything, baby. I'll just hang out. Let me know what you want from me. And then to turn around and tell you, well, you were making every decision. It almost feels, and I'm not just talking about your relationship, because of course
it happens a lot.
I love my dad. A lot of women go through this. To turn around and say you just were too controlling, that's a little bit unfair.
Well, that's what happened when I talked to him in that moment, and he told me that. I even got mad.
I would too.
I got mad because
I would too.
For a controlling person to exit in a relationship, it had to be one that
Doesn't control.
do nothing.
Yes, thank you.
100%. 100%. So in any relationship, especially in marriage, it had to be like 50-50. You as a married person, you had to communicate.
100%.
You had to like, okay, there's nothing wrong with the man doing chores in the house or doing things as the women's do. And he is not like, oh, you're a man, you have to do this, da. And I'm a woman, I will do this, da. No, sometimes you have to compromise.
Yeah.
Oh, can you please do this? And I don't mind doing this for you.
Yeah.
You know, it's communication. It's giving more.
Yeah.
Try to make the other person feel better.
Yeah.
You know, so when he told me that, I say, is that what you do that? Is that what you do this? Because she will let you
lead.
This is so unfair.
Yes.
Because sometimes there's things that had to be done, especially because we used to have businesses.
Yeah.
And we used to do a lot of stuff. But I see sometimes your dad didn't take the step to go and do it.
Yeah.
And I didn't wait. I'm a responsible person. So I see that something had to be done and I look and the other person didn't do that.
Yeah.
So I just jump and do it.
Yeah.
Because for me, it's easy to do things, you know?
Yeah.
But sometimes as a woman, now that I think about it, I say, no, sometimes you have to stop. Sometimes you have to let this person like, please, can you do this? Remember, you're supposed to do it.
Yeah.
You know, because we as a woman, we always jump at the first time that they don't do something.
Yeah.
Then we're going to become those.
Right.
We're going to take the place, you know, and it's not right. We have to let them.
Right. I feel it's a little bit unfair because it's almost like we expect women to continue to do it and know it all. Because if a woman, we're not even going to talk about your situation, but if a woman marries a man who wants her to do everything, wants her to lead, wants her to make all the decisions, and then he turns around and says, you were making all the decisions, so I just went with someone that was letting me lead. When it's like, if given the opportunity, and if your partner would have stepped up and would have led you, like, could you imagine a situation where your husband at the time would have been like, I'm going to take care of the girls, you stay in bed, and today we're just going to be all about you and you get to relax. You probably would have been a lot more cool and calm, right?
Yes.
Right? But if your partner never steps up to say, I'm going to take the girls today, or I'm going to go grocery shopping, or don't worry about this, I'm going to make these phone calls for the business. It almost seemed like your partner was putting everything on your plate, and then he got mad because you were directing and telling people what to do when that's the position that you were given in your marriage.
Exactly.
Now, the point that you bring up where you say, I feel as women, we have to let go sometimes of some certain things. I agree with you 100% on that. I, as your daughter, I am someone that is a lot like you.
Yes.
And as your daughter, and because I'm the oldest daughter, a lot of times I also see it in myself that I can do it all, Mom. I could do it all. You tell me run this business, I will run this business. You tell me run this house, I will run this house. And so because I grew up seeing that dynamic and I knew that's what had happened in your marriage, I was hyper aware of the fact that I didn't want that to happen in my marriage, right?
Amen.
So I learned a little bit, right? We're all doing the best we can. I'm not saying I'm perfect or my marriage is perfect in any way, but just to give you an example and to give our listeners an example of like, sometimes you just have to let things go.
Yes.
There's been times where I naturally fall into a leader role, right? And I would say that my husband naturally lets me like lead, like, okay, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, because as women, that's how we are. But there's been times where, like, in my marriage, we have decided that everybody has what they're gonna do. So for example, just to give you guys like a super brief example, my husband's role is the trash, right? And tell me, no me dejes mentir, there's been days where the trash is piled to the ceiling. Not really, but there's a lot of trash where we could have easily gone to get it, but I tell you, that's Denny's job, don't touch. ¿Sí o no?
Yes.
Because to me, if we give our partners a certain role, it's like, that is your job, and I'm not gonna get involved in that. Right now, if he was to say like, hey baby, like I forgot to take out the trash, can you get it, because there's meat in there, I don't want to smell. Oh yeah, thank you, yeah, like I'll do it. But he is delegating to me, telling me what to do, right? And there's other jobs he has, but that's just like a really simple example. Yeah. And so it's hard because there's been times where I see the trash, I'm like twitching because I'm like, oh my god, this trash needs to get taken out. But I don't want to tell him anything because that's his job. And when I gave him that job, he took all the responsibility that came to it. And I rid myself of having to control, manage it, or delegate it, right?
Yes.
So if it's hard with the trash, I can imagine how it would be like with the kids, with the businesses,
Exactly.
with, your relationships, your date night, everything, right? It's impossible for us women to have it all on our plate.
Actually, it is impossible.
Yeah.
But somehow we created it like this. We have everything in us to be able to function actually almost without a man in the house. Because
so
we were created to build with the builders in our homes, building a family, building the relationship, building education for our kids and everything. And it's a good point because now that I have my son, it's good for a mom to think about when you're raising boys to become a man.
Yeah.
It's really important because otherwise when you don't raise a boy to become a man, then they marry and the wife had to take over. So we had to be careful too as moms.
Yeah. So to touch a little bit on that, because you're bringing it up to us, you say women are almost built to be able to handle it all.
Yeah.
And there are so many women who are doing it all by themselves. And you have been doing it all since I was 13. I'm 32. So what, 21 years? That's a long time. Looking back now, you were married for 13 years?
13 years.
For 13 years. And you have also been a single mom for 21 years. I feel like this might sound like a silly question, but which one was not easier, but would you have preferred to have had your husband there all along?
No. Like I say, me at this age, I wish I never lost my marriage.
No.
I wish not only for me, but for you guys, for my kids, and now for my grandkids. It's like, if I know, I repeat it again, if I know what I know now, I will fight that battle so different. But I think that whatever happened in my life, it has a reason.
Yeah.
And I take it.
Yeah.
I'm fulfilled. I'm in peace. And I know I went through so many different things, some of it really hard, just to help others. That's the main reason I think about it.
I think what you said about you wish that you wouldn't have lost your marriage, that's powerful, and I share those feelings with you. I wish you wouldn't have lost your marriage.
Yeah.
And it took me a long time to understand like why everything happened and why we went through everything we went through. And it wasn't until I had my son that I understood why it happened. Because if you never would have divorced, I would cry. I never would have met Denny.
This is real, guys. This is not fake.
I never would have met Denny, and then we never would have had Santiago.
I know. That's why at this time, we should buy tissues.
We're both crying.
That's why right now it's like, I thank God for everything.
Yeah.
Even if it was hard, even if it was so painful for me. I just wish that all the pain that I went through this was only me. I wish you guys never feel any pain.
Yeah.
But it's hard because when a marriage break, everybody get hurt.
Yeah.
That's why I think about it now. And even, that your dad passed, now I feel bad. I feel bad that it had to end like that. And sometimes I ask myself, not God, because he's perfect and whatever he allowed in my life, I'm really blessed, even if it's something so hard. Because now I see a woman and sometimes they come to me and talk to me and ask me questions about it. And I say, don't do this.
Yeah.
No, don't do it this way.
Yeah.
Or please, humble yourself, or things like that. Now I have weapons, like I can tell people, don't do it.
Yeah.
It's not worth it because you're not you're my age when I made those many mistakes.
Yeah.
So I think, like I say, I wish I never lost my marriage.
Me too.
I wish I never, you guys had to go to the pain that you went through. And for all those they're going right now through that, well, what I can say is get help.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that with us, because I know it's not easy to like touch into the deep parts of your heart where you keep your marriage and, you know, us as little girls. Now, as a married woman, I have learned a lot from you. I've decided to take the positives of you and the positives of my dad and the positives that I saw you guys within you guys' marriage. Some of those things are like, I know what a loving man is because my dad was a very loving man to you.
Yes.
I know what it's like to be a serving wife because you were a wife that was always willing to serve her husband.
Yes.
And I know what a happy family looks like because I was blessed enough to be born into a happy marriage, and I was blessed to be a child that was very loved and awaited for by two parents. So what advice would you give us that are married? Like what are some of the things that we can do? Like, I know there might be somebody listening that's like, I am about to lose my marriage and I want to fight, and maybe not for infidelity, maybe for other reasons, because a marriage can be broken for a lot of things. But what advice would you give to someone that's maybe going through like a hard phase? Yeah, like a hard phase in the relationship. And of course, hopefully there's no abuse. Hopefully there's no, like any of that. What advice would you give to us so that we can have better marriages?
Well, I had to say it because the only reason now I think different and I will do different things, that's because I read the Bible. For me, is the best book. It has everything in it.
Yeah.
And I become a better person because I read that.
Yeah.
And it's a book, beautiful book in the Bible, is Esther.
Mm-hmm.
And when I read it the first time, a lot of stuff come to my mind.
Yeah.
Because it's a way the woman talked to the husband.
Yeah.
So everything it had to do with the way you say things.
Can you give us an example?
For example, it's like you have to put like a honey into the words. Especially, how do you want the other person to talk to you? So it's like, what do you want is what you give.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
If you want somebody to talk to you in a sweet way, you be the first one who do that.
I could see that.
If you want somebody to please you, why you don't please first? Everything had to do with the way we say things, the way we do things, and whatever you plan, that's what you're going to receive.
Yeah.
So, for example, you're going to ask your husband like something, to do something, or to remind him to do something. For example, the trash. Let's use the same sample. If he knows that's his responsibility, and you see, like you say, oh, I'm getting like frustrated because I passed by the kitchen and the trash is building up instead of to be nice and clean, right?
Yeah.
As a woman, we expect that. And as a controlling person, sometimes we want it to be done, and the mom or words is not finished and coming out of the mouth, and we want the other person to go do it.
Yeah.
So if you see this building up, for example, he's supposed to take it out today, but he didn't. So it's nighttime and the trash is there, and you passing by and you boom,
Yeah.
It's a trigger to you. So instead of to go and say, hey, honey, don't you supposed to take out the trash? Because we use that movement sometimes, it's part of the, I'm frustrated.
Yeah.
We think that we holding it, but our body's reacting.
Yeah.
It's talking us, and not only our mouth. So I think I would do it in a different way. I will go and say, something? It would be better if the trash is out.
Yeah.
Do you think you can do it right now?
Yeah.
See, it's the same thing, but say in a different way.
Well, and you're given a timeline too, because you said, do you think you could do it right now? Right? Because it's so interesting that you bring this up in a biblical way, because I have kind of looked into it, but in a more psychological way, right? I've been married for almost 2 years, gracias a Dios. And I do have God in my marriage, but I guess I've gone about it like in a different way. Like I kind of have got it about it in a psychological way. And everything you're saying, I guess it comes from the Bible, but in the books that I've read and that I've researched, it's basically I've come to the conclusion that it's the same thing. Yeah, the way that you speak to someone is they're gonna speak back to you. And exactly. It's interesting because I've talked to my therapist about this. I'm like, oh my God, my husband is like a kid, because if I give him attitude, he'll snap back at me, kind of like, hey, no me hables así, like, why are you you know what I mean? And if I approach it in a nice way and I'm like, babe, can you help me take out the trash, please? Right? Can you help me?
Exactly.
Right? He's more willing to do so if I approach him in a soft and easy way. So exactly. There's been times, like, it's crazy how you have to check your attitude. You have to check yourself, and you have to be like, let me take a deep breath before I even approach him, and let me check the way that I'm going to speak to him, because the way that I speak to him is the way that he will eventually speak to me.
Exactly.
Another example, right? And it's funny because everything is psychological. Another example is like sometimes I like to make sure that my husband, takes the lead. I like to let him take the lead as many times as possible. So, for example, he likes to make me pick where to eat. That's a thing. Like, he would want me to pick where to eat. But sometimes I'm tired. Like, I've made all the decisions. I don't want to pick where to eat. So I'll tell him, baby, can you pick, please? I really don't want to make that decision today. Okay, yeah. So he'll be like, you want panda? And I'm like, yeah, baby, that was a really good choice, right? Like, I reward the positive behavior that I want to see. And it's so funny because he'll do it back to me. Like, let's say I'm like, oh, baby, you want to stop for Starbucks? And he'd be like, wow, baby, that was a really good choice. And it feels good, where you're like, oh.
But he's trying to be funny.
Yeah, right? He's trying to be funny, but sometimes he'll do it right. Yesterday we're trying to teach Santiago how to wave. Mm-hmm. And so I was sitting in front of the baby and I was like, hi, like waving at him to teach him like how to do it. And Denny was holding the baby and he was tapping his hand like, dile hola la mamá. And I was like, where did you learn the tapping from? And he's like, from you. And I'm like, dude, they pay more attention than they say. Exactly. Like, he is learning. I'm like, I have like 2 little sponges, like they're just soaking everything in. So I love how you say, like, women, we are the builders of our family. It is. Kind of like the man gives you his seed and we create a baby. Exactly. The man gives you anything that a man gives you, you make into something beautiful, right? And it's hard, I'm not saying it's always easy. I don't want to discredit anything, but being married, and sometimes when you're in the thick of everything going on and everything's going crazy, you just want to snap. And the person that's easiest to snap on is your partner, right? Because, for example, with the baby, there's times where I'm like, this is your kid. I'm tired of taking care of your kid, even though it's my kid too, So yeah, like, I could definitely see how, I guess, being kinder, respecting one another will save a lot of marriages.
I think so. I think actually the Bible says that when they're talking about marriage, they say the men, God tell the men to love the woman and to take care of the woman as a fragile, fragile glass. Yeah. Right. And also God tell the woman to respect the man. Wow. I think the key here is for women to respect the man.
So I think it's interesting how it says 2 different things.
Exactly. And I thought about it when I read it the first time. I say, God, why you don't tell us to love the man? You know, respect the man. Wow. And the man, he says, love the woman. You know. So I think the key here is for a woman to respect the husband. Yeah. Respect him.
You know what's interesting? I I don't read, I haven't read the Bible as deeply as you have, but I have
Me
video.
neither.
No, you've read the Bible a lot, girl. You
Not the whole Bible.
no, but you're pretty knowledgeable. That's like what you base your life off of, right?
Oh,
Like you try
yes.
to
My faith.
live your life in that way, and that's amazing. I think it makes you an amazing person and mom and
Glory
woman.
to God.
Amen. And so I think it's interesting because, you know, my whole saying, quierete mucho, respétate más. I am all about respect.
Amen.
Even before I knew about the Bible and stuff, I have always said, a mí no me quieras, a mí respétame, right? Because I feel like this goes for any relationship, but because we're talking about like the husband and wife relationship or the partnership relationship, there will be so many times where you're not even gonna like your husband. You're gonna be like, este hijo de su mother, you know? And there's going to be times where he doesn't like you. There's going to be times where he's going to be annoyed by you. He's not going to want to be around you, because a lifelong relationship is going to have a lot of different faces.
Yes.
But one of the main things that always has to be present in your relationship is respect.
Amen.
Because even if we don't like each other right now, if I respect you, I'm not going to do anything that hurts you.
Exactly.
You know, like I could be like, ay, como me cae gorda mi mamá right now. She told me to clean my room and she told me to do this and she told me to do that. But because I respect you, I'm not going to speak back to you. I'm not going to talk bad about you to other people. And I'm not going to go do something that's going to purposely hurt you.
Exactly.
You know? And so I think that word respect, I mean, I love that it's part of the slogan of my life, you know? Respect is a
big key.
It's the best thing you can do for your relationship. Would you say that?
I think yes.
Yeah.
I'm 100% yes. I mean, but I think respect starts with ourselves.
Yes.
If you respect yourself, you respect others.
Yeah.
And you will bring respect from others to you. Because when another person see in you that you respect yourself,
Yeah.
then they will do it too.
So I would love to talk about examples of respecting yourself, because I think that could look very different to very many different people. So we're not just talking about, right, I'm assuming, we're not just talking about like, it's not respect yourself, quote unquote, with the way you dress. Like you can wear whatever you want, right? But what do you mean by respecting yourself?
Respecting yourself, for example, if you in a relationship, you know, with your boyfriend or even marriage, and it's turning really bad.
Yeah.
Like bad words coming out, and offense, you know, things like that. Respecting yourself is taking your time out.
Yeah.
It's telling the other person, I'm sorry right now. I think it will be good for us to at least go to the other room.
Yeah.
For a while, for maybe a couple of days. Think what you're saying to me, think what you're doing, and I will think too.
Yeah.
And move.
Yeah.
You know, it's respecting myself. Because respecting yourself is not putting yourself in a situation that you can get hurt because you just want to be there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's one of the things that that we can do it. Like respecting yourself is loving yourself.
Yes.
It's putting yourself to the point that I'm not going to allow this to hurt me this way.
Yeah.
It's to think, you know.
And that's really hard, you know. I mean, you brought that example, and I could definitely speak on myself and say that yo soy bien corajuda, and I want to fix.
I don't know where you got it from.
No, but for example, like we're talking about like discussions, right? Like partnership fights, and there's been times where I'm like, I know I should be walking away right now, pero tengo tonto coraje que me va a escuchar. And, you know, once you're already mad, that's not the time to be having the right conversation, right? And that changed real quick for me when I had my baby, because we don't fight in front of him. So now me trago las palabras, and no matter how pissed I am, I'm like, oh my God, I want to tell them right now. But that's one aspect of respecting yourself in your relationship, which I think is a really amazing point that I could even work on. I think other ways of respecting yourself in your relationship could look like taking care of you. And I know it sounds very cliche and people say it, but like, for example, I feel like sometimes there's people that are so into their relationship, they're like enmeshed with the other person. And for me, I would say respecting myself means having hobbies outside of my husband and my baby, something for me. It looks like respecting myself looks like taking care of my physical self by going to the gym, taking care of myself by making sure that I'm showering, brushing my teeth, washing my face, like having those 10 minutes to myself at the end of the day, just putting myself quote unquote first so that I could be a better wife to my husband and so that I could be a better mom to my baby, because if a woman is not even giving herself that respect to take 10 minutes to herself to say, husband, here are the kids, I'll be back, I'm gonna go do nothing in the restroom, don't knock, leave me alone, right? There's two different versions of you. If the version of you that stays in and is like, no, I don't deserve to take time to myself, I'm just gonna stay here with the babies and I'm gonna do everything for my husband, she's probably looking very frustrated and very overwhelmed. And the other version is the mom who takes 10 minutes to herself, and then when she comes out of those 10 minutes is like, okay, I took a break for me, how can I serve you guys?
I think what you're saying about doing those things for yourself, it goes more like loving yourself.
Yeah.
It's more like loving yourself than respect. But it's okay. I mean, because respect and love, it goes together. It made one thing.
Yes.
It had to be together. If you love, you respect. If you respect, you love me. So it goes together. But I think we know our strength.
Yes.
As a person, we don't know exactly the strength of other person, but for sure you know your strength. When you getting mad, and then elevates to frustration, elevates to when you start like I'm gonna explode, it's better to leave.
Yeah.
And you like that too, like, because it happens a couple of times with us when you say, Mom, I don't want to talk about this right now. And I respect,
yes.
Then I understand, this is not a time to be talking about this.
Yeah.
So the other person is quiet, And I remember when you were talking, that I remember your dad. Your dad used to be like, I used to get mad for something, frustrated, so like crazy,
Yeah.
And your dad, instead of argue with me, he will go and lay down. Oh my God, it made me so crazy mad. Like, and I say, no, but I need to talk to you about this right now. When you calm down, we talk. Oh my God, it feels like, it was so hard for me.
Yeah.
I can't take it, but he will keep his peace, and it's a good thing now that I know what I know. I say, my God, he was teaching me something, and I never got it. I never learned, like I can think about a lot of things that happened in my marriage that I would do so different now. Yeah, I mean, it's like he was teaching me a lot of stuff and I never took it. I was so much into me. So that's why I feel sometimes that we don't have to be selfish in the marriage, because it counts for selfish. If you put your relationship, everything about me, how I feel, how I do things, I had to manage. Let go. See the line when you're crossing the line that everything is not about you. It's about the other person. It's about loving the other person, respect the other person, do good for the other person.
Yeah.
And at the time you're doing all these things for the other person, you're doing it for you, actually.
Yeah, I think so. I think one of the biggest lessons I've learned in my marriage is that, it's not me, it's us now.
Exactly.
It's not just about me doing things for him, right? Because it can't just work one way. Like, it can't be just the woman doing everything for him. I think it's a mentality where in ideal world, the partnership, the husband and the wife, both start doing things for the better benefit of the family.
Yes.
Of the family. And I think the biggest thing, there's probably a lot of women here who are listening. And of course, if they're married, that means that they love their husband, right?
Yes.
They love their husband. That's why they're with him. And I even have a friend who tells me things about her husband. She's recently married and she's like, I didn't know it was all this. And I was like, yeah, it's a lot. When you get married and you move in with someone, it's a lot, And then it's two people coming in together who were raised differently, who are used to different things, and then trying to make something work in their relationship.
Yeah, sometimes if you think about it, when I thought about it, it's hard because, like you say, it's two people. They're not related.
Not
They
related.
not blood related. Because when it's blood, like sister, mother, father, whatever, it's easier because
Yeah.
the blood can never be separated.
Yeah.
But you trying to have a relationship with everything with a person that is not related to you at all,
Yeah.
except for the love that you guys have in common.
Yeah.
So it's harder. I think marriage is the hardest relationship between two people.
Wow.
That I can put it that way. That's the hardest relationship between two people.
Yeah.
Because it's not blood connection.
Yeah. Yeah. Marriage is amazing because you love them so much, but it's also hard work.
But also we can say even if it's the hardest to have, it's the most beautiful relationship that you can accomplish, because then you create a family.
Yes.
Your kids are coming, the babies, all the love, and also it make you better woman, and it makes a better man.
Yeah.
And you raising the most beautiful human being that is your kids.
Yes.
So even if it's the hardest, it's the most beautiful relationship because it has fruit.
Yes. And to add on to that, I will say, seeing my husband, Denny, as my husband, and seeing the way that he picks me up and he loves on me, I am a better person because of Denny. I give him his flowers. He is an amazing person, and he allows me, I feel like ever since I got married to him, or ever since I met him and we created this relationship together, I feel like my life has only gotten better since he's been in it. And that's a beautiful gift from God,
Yeah.
But I would like to touch on a hard topic, now that we've talked about like the beauty and respecting your husband. I know you said in the beginning of the video that you wish you could have made your marriage work. Now, your marriage didn't work because of infidelity. And I don't know if there's a right answer or not, but my question is, do you think it's worth staying in a marriage after infidelity?
Well, like I say, if you don't know how to fight this battle, when everything start crashing into the marriage, infidelity will give fruit. It will happen, right? So the question is, if it stay,
Do you think it's worth it to stay in a marriage after you've been cheated on, or after you've been through
the
it?
thing that I can say, because I'm a woman who didn't stay.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a really hard decision.
Yes.
So I think, because I cannot tell a woman, oh, I didn't stay, don't stay.
Right.
Never.
Yeah.
Because you know what you have, you know everything that went through, you know how it happened. So I cannot get the right answer. Like I say, stay, or I cannot say don't stay. Because I think depends on you. What I can say is, don't let this happen. I mean, it's a lot of signs in the relationship and the marriage before it gets to infidelity.
Really?
It's a lot of signs. Please get help. If I tell you something, I don't want to sounds like religion person, because I'm not. I just have a beautiful relationship with God. Get a relationship with God. And if you have a relationship, if you bring God into your marriage, believe me, infidelity won't come and knock at your door.
Amen.
Okay? That's what I can tell you, because I wish I know God the way I know God now. Mm-hmm. I wish in that my 34 years old about the word of God, how be a wife, how treat my husband, how do things, how relate, and let my husband be. Remember, your husband is a human being.
Yes.
Your husband had fears. Your husband had moments that he want to cry, that he don't know what to do. He's a human being. He's not a somebody that came from a book with everything perfect.
Yeah.
He has his imperfections, like you. We all do. We all have different things that we don't like it. If we really like showing ourselves, think about ourselves, we have things that we don't like about us.
Yeah.
Even if we don't tell people, even if it doesn't show, even if we put makeup on it, we have things, if we're sincere to ourselves, we know it's things that we don't like. It's things that we do wrong.
Yeah.
So pretty much is before you judge your husband about something or come and tell your husband something bad, make a stop and think about, like, would you like somebody to tell you that? Would you like somebody to do that to you?
Yeah.
I mean, if we all think about this, it's like self-control.
Yeah.
We have to have self-control, especially us women that we're building the house. We're the builders of the family. So please get a relationship with God. Please read the Bible. I'm not a religion person, but it helped me so much until today to become a better mom, to become a better friend, to become a better worker. You're just gonna be better at all.
Yeah.
So I cannot give you a specific answer. Oh, get divorced. Of course, I'm against divorce.
Yeah.
Please look for the signs and do something
Yeah.
before it gets to the point that a third person come to your marriage.
Wow. Yeah.
That's the thing, the best advice I can give you.
Yeah.
I don't want nobody and like me divorce. Why? Even though I've been making it all those 21 years that I've been divorced, it's been tough.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not like I don't need a man just to have a man in my life. I know what I want. And if I choose to be single, that's because it's hard to find somebody the way I want it now.
Yeah.
Because I want somebody who love what I love, that is my relationship with God, first of all.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, please, just treat your husband the way you want to be treated.
Yeah.
I think it's the most important key here.
Yeah. That's very powerful. You know what you said about, and it really stuck out to me when you said your husband is a human being.
Of course.
Because there's been times where I get frustrated. I'll speak on my marriage. I'll get frustrated because maybe he doesn't do something the way I want it done, or because he takes a little bit longer, or, I could for sure say that I might have a little bit of higher expectations because we expect people to work from the same place that we work from, right? And so, yeah, that's very nice. I feel very good in my heart.
Yeah,
it makes me feel very nice in my heart.
You guys, we have to understand. Like I say, it's a human being.
Yeah.
It's somebody so different that you just think about what you like about your husband when you met him. You know, when you fall in love the first time that you saw him, whatever you meet your husband, you saw that man and you say, oh, wow. It got your attention. It got your stomach, butterflies. You want to meet this guy. You pass by, whatever, all those little things that in the beginning, that's what make the relationship
work.
Last.
Yeah. And I hope that if there's anyone listening to us who's maybe been through infidelity, right? I guess I would like to tell them that in order for a marriage to work after infidelity or after, any hardship, you have to have two willing people.
Two people to be
two people that want to work on the marriage and that want to stay in the marriage. Because if there is a woman listening to us who maybe went through infidelity and she's saying, I want to make my marriage work, I want to do it, like, you can put everything from your heart, but if your husband doesn't want to make it work, then it's not gonna work, right? So yeah, it takes two willing participants. So I don't want anyone to feel like maybe they're not doing enough, because if you don't have a partner who wants to stay in the marriage, it doesn't matter how hard you try, it's not going to work. But I feel like we have taken so many good feelings from you, Mom. And I really appreciate your wisdom. And I really appreciate how you're willing to share with us younger women on how to make our marriage work, because sometimes it's hard, It
is.
Sometimes it's hard, and we feel like you said, like a marriage, it could be one of the hardest relationships we ever had, because it's a person who literally is nothing to you.
Exactly.
Sometimes I think of the fact that I met Danny at a bar and I'm like, how do I got a kid with this man? How do I got a kid with this man that I met at the bar, And now we live together and we're forming a life together, and I go to his house and I'm implemented into his family and he's implemented into our family. So I am so grateful to God that I am married, that I met my husband, that I get to experience what it's like to be in a marriage with a wonderful man who loves me and who I love. And I feel like it's hard to remember that all the time when you're desperate, when you're frustrated, when you're overstimulated. Like you said, I think it's good to kind of come back. And if you have a good husband and you have a good husband who loves you, takes care of you, and is trying his best, it's good to remember that they're human, like you said.
Exactly.
And that they're trying their best, and that this is their first marriage as well. This is their first time being in a marriage.
Remember, one thing when you marry, what you're saying right now, he's learning too how to be a husband
and how to be a dad.
Exactly. It's the same as you. You a woman and you're learning how to be a wife. It's a different thing. It's not, oh, I'm a woman, I'm already going to be an excellent wife. No, you make mistakes too.
Yeah.
As woman, we do a lot of things that then we think about when we're alone. Oh, good thing he didn't
notice
whatever.
Yeah.
Just think about the other person like it's you.
Yeah. And I think there's times, especially like when babies come into the marriage, maybe the dad does something and you feel a little bit frustrated. I think we tend to forget that it's our first time too.
Exactly.
We do. I mean, we want people to meet us where we're at, and that's a good reminder. I feel what I've gathered from this podcast from you, and we thank you so much for teaching us this, is to respect your partner.
Exactly.
To let some things go, right?
Yes.
And to remember that your husband is human.
Of course.
Yeah. I feel like those are very amazing lessons.
Respect and love also.
Yeah. Respect and love. Yeah. And now that we're at the end
self-control too.
Yeah. Self-control too. Yeah. Now that we're about to close the podcast, I guess I would want to ask you, do you think that, being someone who would you say your marriage was successful?
I cannot say they was successful because it broke at the end.
Yeah.
We ending. Well, if I think about it, is we were separated for so many years, but at the end, before he passed, I had the opportunity to respect him and to give something back to him.
Yeah.
So I think the marriage finished good.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
And so would you, having had a successful marriage and in a marriage where you were so loved and in love, would you want the opportunity to have a marriage again?
Well, like I say, and somebody asked me a week ago if I was thinking to get married again. If I tell the truth, that thought is not in my head. Yeah. It's not in my mind. I'm a fulfilled woman. I mean, if I tell the truth, I don't have no time right now for a relationship for a man. I wish I had more time because I work full time. I mean, I had 3 kids and I try to be with my 3 kids at the same time. So I'm full. I go to church, I do my things. I have my grandkid, beautiful, my grandkid. And also I love to read, I study, I pray, I have full hands, but I'm not close. I'm not close not to remarry. I already know what I want. And if God does his plans to give me somebody else, I will marry. And if it's not, I'm perfectly happy. The main thing in here is to be happy no matter what. Because happiness is in you.
My goal with this podcast, I pray que nos vaya tan bien that you don't have to work anymore. Honestly, because I tried to get this lady off of her job and she did not want to. So you guys click the like button, comment, and share this podcast. Watch the ads. Funny, guys. Watch the ads so she could stop working, because I tried. When Santiago was born, I was like, Mom, come on, come live at the house. I'll pay you. She makes really good money at her job. So I was like, I'll pay you some, but then, I won't charge you rent. And no, le gusta trabajar esta mujer. So
well, you have to understand, I'm a working woman and I enjoy my job, not only because I think my job is another subject, but I take my job as an opportunity to do good to people. Yeah. Not only to do my job, but to talk about it. It's so many need all over, people in need that sometimes you talk to somebody and you make them feel good.
Yes.
With nothing expecting, just to say people you're doing good.
Yes, and I really pray and hope. I know we could talk about this on another podcast, but I watched you work so hard my whole life. It is my dream that you get to live a life of relaxation. It makes me cry. I want you to.
I know you decide and I know you hard, but you have to understand for me it's not hard. Because
know.
when you put your mind into something, you do it. And you do it, I just take it like it's normal. I'm not saying oh, this is really hard for me or whatever.
Right. I know you like your
take
job.
everything. I like everything that I do as something that I have to do.
Well, I know you like your job. It's not like you're like forced, right? But
No.
but I just would love to have you here all day with Santiago.
I know you love me, and I love Santiago.
Yes.
But let's see what God has.
Yeah. I mean, that's another topic for another time. We love.
Yeah.
Fun fact for those of you that are interested in zodiac signs. My mom's a Capricorn, so Capricorns love to work, and she is that to the T, literal. So fun fact. So yeah, Mom, I thank you for sharing your knowledge with us as always. I feel like this was
Glory to God.
Gloria a Dios, yes. I feel like when the topic of marriage comes up, I'm still a baby in it. I'm a baby wife, like I'm so new at it. So I don't know that I have a lot of wisdom to share just yet to be like, this is how you do it and this is how you have a successful marriage. But you are somebody who had a very loving marriage, who had 3 beautiful kids that came from that marriage. And now that I have my baby, I know that a marriage is so powerful.
It is.
A marriage is a powerhouse, and it's 2 people deciding to commit to one another, to come together and to create life. And I know, speaking of the Bible, because I know a little bit about it, you said, oh, not you, but in the Bible it says, you can remind me of however I say it, but it says that every kid you have is a jewel on your crown, right? Is it something like that? Is it something like that?
Actually, the grandkids is a crown.
Oh, the grandkids, not the kids. Oh, me falta entonces. I have to wait till Santiago's older.
Yeah, so Santiago is my first crown.
Oh, your first jewel on the crown?
The crown.
Oh, the crown. Okay. Man, me falló, but
It's okay.
I'm learning. Yeah. So, but I love being married, and I love having a husband that loves me and that I love, and I love our baby. And now I know why people marry, and now I know why it feels so good to have someone that decided to commit their life to you, and you decided to commit your life to them. And you as somebody who had that and lost it, like, I feel for you. But I wanted to bring you on and talk about this because there are so many women who have experienced that, and your wisdom helps us all heal. It helps those women heal, and it helps us that are still in the marriage to say, what can I do different so that I can avoid maybe putting my own foot in my own way, tripping my feet up, right? So that I don't make those mistakes that another woman sharing her wisdom made, and I can make a better marriage for myself and for my kids, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Actually, when I realized all this, not too far ago, I start praying for the marriages. I pray for yours, and I pray for every single marriage around the world. And I thought about it. I say, well, God, what am I praying for all the marriages when I lost mine? But then I understand that for women not to lose the ones they have right now.
Yeah.
So then I understand that it's my job to pray for others so they don't go through what I went through, and to teach others not to make the same mistakes that I made.
Yeah.
So if somebody, because most of the times when you go to places where they teach about marriage, they show you a couple that have been married 50 years, right?
Yeah.
And then you say, oh, we went through this, we're doing this, but we love, we stay together, la 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 la, right? And it's beautiful. But it's hard when they put somebody who lost something to teach you not to do what it takes this person to lose everything.
Yeah.
So I say, okay, I learned my lesson. Now I want to tell others things so they don't lose what they have.
Thank you, Mom.
And I keep praying for all the marriages, especially for women too, to be able to have an understanding how handle things in the house and their marriage and the family, because we can never forget marriage is the first united that God made. So if marriage stay together, the world will be in more peace.
Yes.
And that's the main key, to have peace in us and have a peace in the family and any relationship and the whole earth that we need it so much right now.
Okay. Yes, I agree. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Mom, for everything, for all your wisdom, and for sharing it with us. I can't wait to continue to have these conversations and to continue learning. And I also pray that all of the people listening, and my marriage included, that we always stay together and that
Amen.
and we get through all the hardship that may come our way, because being married doesn't guarantee that there won't be hardship. We just pray for the right tools to get through it.
Exactly.
Yes. So thank you so much, Mommy, for sharing your knowledge with us. And thank you guys so much for listening. I hope and pray that everybody learned something, or that, this was useful. And let us know in the comments how and which way, what you thought about. The more you let us know, the better, you guys. Please make sure to subscribe and like this video. I don't know if I've told you, but our videos are going to be coming out every Monday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so every Monday we will be having a new YouTube video. We're not going to be on Apple and Spotify just yet. We'll just be here on YouTube. So hopefully you guys are tuning in and listening every Monday. But yeah, that's going to be it from us. Thank you so much for listening. Que Dios nos las bendiga.
Amen.
Quiérete mucho.
Respétate más.
Yes, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye,
Bye.
guys.
Thank you.